Good evening, everyone. Welcome to TMA Sunday Night Live. As always, with the Pidge, I'm joined by Deano, who is a young man. And we've also got the man, the myth, the legend, or just the legend, in fact, Moobdeanio. Evening, fellas.
Evening.
Guys. And we have got the legends have been rolling in. We had Jerry Armstrong last week. We had Super Cali on Friday, on even Saturday, in fact. And now we've got Captain Marvel, shall we say. He'll probably kill me for saying that, but we've got Captain Marvel, current Scunthorpe United manager. And also amongst his clubs, the likes of Aston Villa, Middlesbrough, and crew. 219 appearances for Watford, 20 goals. It's former captain and Watford legend Neil Cox. Good evening, Neil. Once again, thank you very much.
How are we?
Yeah, not bad. No, thank you.
Good. Very good.
Cheers, Neil. Right, everyone. As always, we're sponsored by Sweets for All. Just getting down to Lord Sereneca, Morpheus's sweet showroom for fast, friendly delivery. So if you haven't ordered your sweets already, get down to Lord Seren's sweet paradise. Right, okay, so plenty of opinions. We will touch on the game yesterday afternoon, but first let's get on chatting to a legend, shall we say. So Neil, like I've said 100 times, thank you very much for being here, mate. I know you got to scoot off later on in the show, but just first thing, I mean, you've really sort of come home. I know this is not really Watford related straight away. You've really sort of come home from, you started your career at Scunthorpe United and you're back there. So is it sort of like a career full circle?
It is. I left this football club 30 years ago to go to Aston Villa, and then obviously after 30 years, I've been offered the job, and I'm glad to be back. A lot of work to be done, a lot of changes taking place, but a lot of familiar faces at the football club. So, yeah, it's tough at the moment with what's going on, but really enjoying the challenge I've been given.
Mm.
Oh, wonderful.
Please.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, didn't realise it was me. Sorry. I'm just like zoning out when I shouldn't be. So that's a good start, isn't it?
We'll transcend the questions, mate.
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that one. Neil, there's one thing I wanted to ask you. What's it like being a manager on transfer deadline day? I've always wanted to know this.
Well, I've got a chairman that is helping out with the recruitment, and this year it's been really difficult because of what's going on in the world, and having no crowds. It's been we sat down and we tried to get a few people over the line, but it wasn't easy. Finances is really difficult in the low leagues at the moment. So we sat and we banged our heads together for a long time, and we struggled to get people in the building that we needed. My chairman's decided to change things this year and go with a young group, and we need some experience in through the door, but experience costs you money, and at the moment, I say finances are difficult.
Yeah, do you know anything? Yeah, go on, mate. Go on, mate.
Oh, sorry, Luke. No, I was just going to say, like you touched on, like not having the fans in there. Like, how much does it affect, like the players, like not like, when they walk out of into the stadium? How much does it mean to them not having them there? Does it get to them a bit?
Yeah, I think it does. I think if you look at some clubs, I think the more family-orientated clubs, like a Watford, like a Scunthorpe, they need their local fans in because it's a part of the community. And that's what I felt about Watford. The football club's a part of the community. And that's Scunthorpe the same, and Watford will be the same. Without them fans coming into that ground and getting behind the football club, it's never easy. And me at Scunthorpe United, with there being a local boy back at my club, I'm sure we've got a few more through the gate, but it's been difficult to get them people in.
Yeah. Deano, yeah, go on, mate. You were shooting.
Yeah, Neil, Watford Woody asked this question. I was thinking the same thing. What did you make of Bialy as a manager? Obviously, as a player, he was a great player, but as a manager at Watford, it sort of went a bit wrong. What did you make of it all?
Obviously, my first timings of him, obviously, we didn't really hit it off. Obviously, I was told that I was put on the transfer list and had to move on. But as I got on with my job and dug in and fight for my place, I really liked him. And I think the only reason they got rid of him. I mean, they paid him a lot of money and brought a lot of players and a lot of money into the camp at the time. I think if he would have stayed, he was just starting to get the nucleus of the way football wanted to be played by Watford. We wanted to change the way they was going to play, and I think he would have done a good job. But with the demise of the TV industry and the football money for the football that went bankrupt, I think it cost him his job.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think ultimately, and I think of lack of success, you know, even with the amount of money we spent on wages, it was just didn't really come about for him. But I mean, he brought success at Chelsea, it just wasn't at Watford. With as regards, like I say, I've already touched on when I introduced you. You know, you played for some big clubs. I mean, Villa and Middlesbrough, big clubs, and especially back in the day when you actually played for them, they were pretty big clubs. I mean, Villa's still a big club now, but obviously, including Bolton, that 2-year spell in Bolton. How did the move to Watford come about?
Well, obviously, Graham Taylor was a Scunthorpe person as well, and I went to school with his niece, I think. So, and I'd always kept in touch with Graham Taylor. I was really good friends with his dad, who was a local press reporter in Scunthorpe. And then obviously, we played against him many times, and he saw me as attacking fullback. And the move come about when obviously after the playoff final, when Watford won, I knocked on the door at Watford after and wished everybody all the best, because that's the way I think it should be done. I know we got beat on the day as a Bolton player, but I just had to wish everybody the best. And I think he saw that. So I think he saw the way I was as a character and decided that somebody like that in his football club he'd want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when looking back as well, I mean, we were gutted at the time that, you know, obviously Darren Basie left. We bought there's Little in as well. I mean, good right back, but I think we needed more cover in that position. And not just saying that because you were here. You were probably looking at it in the experience of Premier League experience as well. You're probably at that time with the value, probably the best option for us. But you really were brought in as a right back, but you really excelled at Watford, really as a centre back under Lewington. I mean, was that a conscious decision by Lewin to sort of switch you there because of needs, or was that sort of thing?
Graham Taylor was bringing me in as a centre back, really, to play as a. We was going to play 5 at the back, and I was going to play as the middle man. Just use my experience, but it didn't work out like that. I think we had at Sheff Wednesday, the first game, when I turned up, we had a couple of injuries, and I ended up playing as a right back. Pushed on. I think Gibbo wasn't fit, and Des wasn't fit. So we changed it, and then under Graham Taylor's first year and the second year, I played as a right back. But it wasn't until Ray Wilkins came into the football club. I'd played against QPR when he was manager for Villa at centre half, and they decided to put me back there, which I was always meant to be as a centre half when I came to the club.
Yeah, exactly. Right, just before the boys dive in, obviously this is the fans podcast. We've got Bialy from Oakwell, Bialy, a financial disaster. Ray Cookson, hi Neil Cox, hi all. Right, the women were great today. Love to speak after. Brilliant, Ricky. No, well done for turning up as well. That's fantastic. Ray's come back as well. Absolute legend. That's for you, Coxie. Seren's hi Neil and everyone. Hi Seren. And Kevin's also put love the old showground Scunthorpe proper ground. I mean, it's one of those old new grounds. I mean, it was purposely built years ago, and yeah, I mean, how you been? I mean, I know we played you in the pre-season friendly. I mean, you touched upon it, you know, before we went live that, you know, you saw Watford from, you know, as a pitch side point of view that we were very compact, very tight. You know, how you generally moving back onto how you guys have been there? How you've been finding it? You know, down in the lower league shows there, because you were obviously not scouting manager as well.
Yeah. I just think what's happened, obviously, I've come into this football club and they've been on a couple of down years. Over the last 10 years, they've always been Division 1 and Championship. And for the size of the town, they've done really, really well for themselves. But when they've got relegated, the chairman decided to change managers when I've got the job and go a different route. We're going to bring the young boys through, which I was one of them 30 years ago. And that's the way we want to do it. And it is difficult because League 2 football is really, really hard, and you have to win the battles, you have to win the second balls, and you have to be physical. And the younger boys are struggling at the moment, but I've got all my faith in them that they'll pull through this, and we'll show some winning in the next couple of weeks.
Mm.
I've got a question. I've been wanting to ask this for a long time because I remember seeing you at Towers from the Vic the other year. But I wanted to ask, what was it like the season that we got to the League Cup semi-final and we played Liverpool? What was it like stepping out at Anfield that night? Because like there was like I was there myself. I was like behind the goal.
Yeah.
But you're up against the likes of Steven Gerrard and a couple of others. What was that like for you guys as a personal thing? Was it something you've always wanted to go up against?
I think
playing against like the big.
Yeah, that season was the year we had to take the pay cuts, and it was a difficult season. But we just galvanised to get together. And we had such a good team spirit. Ray Lewington and Terry Burton got us all together, and we just grinded results out really. And we stuck in. We didn't play the best, but we had a mentality. We're not going to get beat, and we believed that when we went to Anfield. We thought we'd get something out of the game, and we thought we'd take him back to Vicarage Road and try and win the game there. Obviously, disappointed to score the own goal there, but after leaving Anfield with Morientes playing and people like that playing against us, it was a good result. And Liverpool at home, I think the only reason the game was changed was by Steven Gerrard's brilliance, really. And there was nothing in the game from us being a championship team and them being a top Premiership team. There was nothing in the two games.
Deano?
Who's the toughest player that you've ever had to mark, Neil, in a game?
Oh, the toughest player. I think that the days when I was at Middlesbrough, I played against Ginola when he first came over into the country, and I think if you read his book, Ginola's book, I think I get more mentions in Ginola's book than he does because of the absolutely tore me to pieces. And then when I played for Watford, we played Tottenham, and Ginola turns up on the wing, and me and Mark Williams tried to kick him all out of the park, but the end up Mark Williams he injured me instead of Ginola. So I think at the time he was probably a proper winger, 6'2", strong, powerful, 2 good feet, and I just couldn't get close enough to kick him. So I think that's when I knew my right back days was over and get in the middle of the pitch and get a bit of protection.
Yeah, we'll ask you about your fond memories of Watford very shortly. But my first memory of you actually was you played us back in '94. It's when we drew 1-1 with you. Jono got our goal. I think Clayton Blackmore got your goal. And the first thing I remember you was when you absolutely skinned Tommy Mooney on the edge of the box and tried to put a nice low ball in, leading up to the Clayton Blackmore goal. That was the first time I knew about you. I said, why did you not get there? I mean, you absolutely rinsed
Tommy
him.
now about that. He just seems to forget about that. Tommy says, "Oh, that can't have been me," but yeah, Tommy is definitely you. And, I keep in contact with him, and I think he says I tried to get one of the far post against me, but that was never going to happen off Tommy.
Brilliant. Yeah. So, what's your fondest memories of Watford? I mean, obviously you signed under Graham Taylor. You worked under a few head coaches, stroke managers there. But what did you take away from Watford that really sort of made an impression on you?
I think first of all, I spent most of my career at that football club. Spent 5 years, or just over 5 years, at that football club. As you said, I played over 250 games. I think I starts and scored 20 goals. And my oldest daughter was born in Watford, and we had a great time in Bushy where we lived. But I just think the friendliness of everybody, not just the supporters, but the people that worked in a football club behind the scenes, where a lot of people. A lot of fans don't realise how good it is behind the scenes at Watford, and I just thought it was great there. And then when we had to take the pay cuts, it wasn't for the players taking the pay cuts. It was got nothing to do with the players. It was to do with the staff that was going to lose their jobs behind the scenes and in the offices and in the shops and in the main shops and everything like that. All the players stuck together, and it wasn't us being greedy or anything like that. It was to save them keeping their jobs in the offices, and that's what we did it for.
Moobs?
Oh, it's back to me again.
You love it, really, mate.
Oh, yeah, of course I do, mate. I always love it. You know me. That's why I'm here every week. I love it. How was the transition from player to management like? Was it hard to like hang up your boots and say, oh, I fancy having a go at management, or was it something you always wanted to do? Like,
yeah, it was
as a
something
player,
I
you're
wanted to
looking
do,
into
but
it.
something I wanted to. It was never easy, and obviously, I after my career finished at 37, I decided to have a break from football and did a little bit of scouting and moved abroad, and then obviously I got back into the country, managed non-league with Elite Town, who I got on really well with the chairman and just helped him out. He said, look, keep me up, I need to stay up in this league, which I did. And then I got a telephone call off my old mate Neil Ardley. We'd had a conversation at Watford days that if any of us get a job or one of us get a job, we'll take the other one with us. And I was fortunate that we got a job together really at Wimbledon, and we managed to stay at that club for 7 years on really, really difficult circumstances. Not the best budget in the world, no stadium, and on what I'd gone on to that football club where the league had took their status off them. But it's good to see that my old football club, Wimbledon, are moving back to their new stadium next week. I think it is Believe, and I think it'll be brilliant for that football club. And not only for that football club, I think it'll be brilliant for football, that a football club that got moved out of Meadow Lane 30 odd years ago are back to it. And I just think it's a credit to all football, really.
Yeah,
definitely.
I was going to say, because are you and Wimbledon in the same league at the minute, or are Wimbledon above?
No. When we left our jobs at Wimbledon, should I say? I'll say left before I said sack. It's better saying left. They was in the first division, and they've done really well. To be fair, it's been difficult times for them financially. It's difficult times when you have got your new stadium, but I'm really looking forward to getting an opportunity to go back to see them at their new stadium. And as I say, every time we played against Wimbledon, we played against them because obviously the football managers are sponsored of Wimbledon and of Watford. We tried to get a pre-season friendly in, which was always good. And then we thank Miles for that. Miles always looked after us.
Yeah. I've got to be honest. I do remember one year the pre-season friendly down at Kingstonian. That was one good game. I enjoyed it. It was when you had Akin Fenwar on it, come off the subs bench, and I'm sitting there thinking, Jesus Christ, this guy's an absolute lump. I was thinking any Watford player. I know Watford played against him the other night, but I thought, Jesus Christ, at the time, I thought it's only a friendly. It looks like he's going to bash the living daylights out of everyone.
The Big Bayo was like that. I must admit, Big Bayo, he looks the size and plays the part, but really he's a really good character, and I think he's good for football. And I think a lot of the top footballers that have got all these kids looking out for him, the way he handles the young boys, and he makes sure he signs everybody's autograph. He stays after the game and signs all of them. And I just think I wish a lot of the top players would take notice of what he does, because I think he does it properly. All these kids want to wait outside for their star to come out, and he does it properly.
Yeah, he does. I think we saw.
Sorry, no, go on, mate. Go on, carry on, mate. Sorry.
I was going to say I saw like that on Tuesday night when he got substituted. He's like geeing everyone up as he's walking off the pitch, and even when he's off the pitch, he's still screaming and shouting at some of them. And I'm like, that is a player.
Yeah,
he's got the respect of everyone.
Yeah, he's good. He's really good with the younger players. He tells them how to do it. Yeah, he's had his ups and downs in football. He's had some bad injuries. But I think he's playing at the highest level he has done at 36, 37, and he just wants to keep it on. And I think the way he motivates people and the way he is around people, I think it's good for football.
Yeah, 100%, definitely.
Well, Stuart Higgins has come in. Said, Neil, thank you for being a no-nonsense defender when you wore the colours. You always put in a shift. Thank you again, and all your efforts in the yellow shirt.
Thank you very much.
So apparently, I've been looking on this. It's fantastic Wikipedia. I mean, you can get loads of stuff without actually asking people. But apparently, I know it's brilliant. Apparently, you went on to be a property developer in Portugal for a couple of years before you returned to the game.
Yeah, I think that was more of just getting a little bit of my future plans out the way, really. I went to Portugal to get on the beach really and play a little bit of golf, but I just put things down so people thought I was busy.
Brilliant. Deano?
What do you make of our manager now, Neil?
I only managed to spend 10, 15 minutes in his company when we played him in pre-season. He looks really ruthless. He looks like he wants to do it his way, and he wants to be there for the long haul. And that's what I worry about really, because over the last few years, I think, only in my point of view, I think the Watford of sacking managers, it's been difficult to get the players on board, but that's the way football's going at the moment, especially at Watford. They bring the players in and then they bring a manager in to manage them. So I think it's going to be difficult for him. Championship's probably one of the hardest leagues in the world, mine's just in the UK. I think the Premiership's a little bit easier because everybody in that Championship, everybody wants to get promoted. Everybody can get promoted and everybody puts pressure on. There's no easy ties.
Yeah, like I said, looking down your career and obviously starting to coach, getting into coaching as well. You played at the higher level for pretty much all your, or at least most of your career. But dropping down to the lower levels, what was the main difference? That probably an easy, really stupid and easy question, but what was the difference dropping down? Doing your coaching down there in terms of the quality and those sort of attributes.
I think what you have to do, and it's something that I learned of Lou Kerr and Ray Wilkins, is when you drop down, the players are not as good as they think they are. They think they're better, so there's a rule is you have to tell players when you play at the Premiership level, you tell a player twice. If he doesn't do it, you leave him out. If you tell a player in the Championship side, if you tell him 3 or 4 times, then you leave him out. When you get to the Division 1, Division 2, you tell them, and then you have to tell them again. They still don't get it, but then you have to tell them again. And I think that is the problem with them. They don't understand the game. They think they're better than what they are, and they don't work as hard as the top players. The top players work a lot harder than the lower league players.
Yep. Right, boys. Just before he goes, because I know he's got. I know Coxie, you got to go very shortly. Is there anything you guys want to finish off with? Yeah, the chairman calls. Yeah, go on, mate. Go on.
No, I was just going to ask, what was it like making your Premier League debut after joining Watford? Was there any nerves at all going through it?
I'd played for Bolton. I was on a good run of form, and then obviously I came into a team at Watford that started the Premiership really, really well. Obviously, gone to Anfield and won, and then we just started to hit a slippery slope a little bit. And my first game was away at Sheffield Wednesday, where we managed to draw 2-2. I think Ngonga got one. I think Charlie Miller might have scored the other. But we had a lot of bad injuries that year. I can remember John Howard had done his cruise shit, which was a shame for that football club because that boy could have been a top player and a really good lad as well. And I still speak to John O now. But yeah, we just had a lot of unfortunate times at Watford that year. A lot of players at the time got injured. Obviously, we missed Gifton Noah Williams, who's a legend and could have gone on to bigger and better things if he'd have stayed fit without his issues he had with his illness. But there's a lot of good characters in that football club and a lot of good players. And just a shame that a lot of them got injured when I turned up, as we could have really pushed on and stayed in the Premiership on the first year.
Yeah. Right. Okay, we'll let you get off, mate. It's about 25 past, and I know your chairman's calling very shortly. That's all right, mate. But thank you ever so much. We'll definitely get you back one time when you're free again. But take care. Good luck with Scunthorpe. And just stay safe, mate.
Thank you very much. All the best to you.
Cheers, Neil.
Cheers,
mate. Right, okay, so Deano's the main man.
Deano's taking the limelight. What's going on here? What's going on?
What's going on here? But he is a young man, so we have to put him on top.
That's true.
Once again, we've said it. I've said it a million times. Coxie, you're an absolute legend, mate. Thank you ever so much for coming on and giving us all your thoughts. And boys, brilliant questions to him as well, lads. I know I put you on the spot last minute, but absolutely amazing, boys. So thank you ever so much to you guys as well. Right, okay, let's get on to the game yesterday, shall we say. MOOBS news coming in about 20 minutes time. So please, guys and girls, hold on to your hats. It is coming. So just hold on for another 20 minutes. We have to get through a bit more of this. We have touched on the verdict with Sir Ray, of course, yesterday, and Watford legend Callie also. But we discussed this, discussed the game, and oh my God, all I can say is I know you went to Hemel, didn't you? But you caught a lot of the highlights, didn't you, Move? I believe. But I was, shall we say, I was going to say I was lucky to watch it on iFollow, a free stream. But I'm so glad I didn't pay for that. Firstly, before we say anything, Jacob, well done, mate. Fantastic on the hive. I saw the highlights, and you've done absolutely brilliant, mate. Absolute legend. And you're the natural, mate. I've already posted it, but just a shout out to Jacob there, because it's very hard to do that. And yeah, fair play, mate. Yeah. So, but yeah, apart from that highlight, it's probably the best highlight seeing Jacob on the hive, but. The actual game itself, it was even worse than Wickham, personally. But what do you guys make of it?
I can't work out what's going on. I generally can't. We've suddenly gone absolutely backwards. Hang on a sec, I've got to get back in the shot.
Yeah, sorry, mate, that's my fault. There's the camera angle.
No, so I've got my tablet round the other way tonight because it's on charge whilst I'm talking.
Bet you are.
Yeah. I'm dismayed again. I just, the thing that baffles me is, and it really baffled me yesterday. Why have we got James Garner on loan from Manchester United if we're not going to play him? What's the point?
That's the whole point, isn't it? Your whole point. Yeah,
because
that's the point, though, Moobs. Oh no, I completely agree with you, mate. Because the whole point is when we got Ben Foster from United, cleverly as well. You send these players out on loan with the trust of the loaned team to play these guys consistently. And I'm not necessarily having to point fingers at him, but you sort of think, who's picking this team? Because you thought, if you're going to bring this lad in, he's got to play more than he's actually been playing at the moment. Okay, Ilic might have his reasons, and he's the head coach, so he's the one who, does his thing. But I think, it's we need some cohesion in that midfield because we're waiting on these forwards, but until then we've got to get going. We've got to get by with these performances, is what annoy me personally. But I'll let you guys carry on because I've said what I said on the verdicts. I've said enough, so I'll let you boys take the stage with this. But all I'll finish with my opinion once again is we need to sort this midfield out big time.
I think it does. I think it's the midfield and the strikers that need sorting out now. He's sorted out the defence. He knows what he wants to do with that, but he's now got to pull this. He's got to pull the rest of them into line. I was talking to a few of them at the ladies' game today, and I actually said I think yesterday Capoue should have been back on the bench. I just don't think he. I think this whole debacle. All right, we know. He didn't get the move to Valencia. We know he didn't go. And he's now saying he's committed to Watford. He wants to stay and play, which is fair enough. But he hasn't played enough regularly. And you can't... Yes, he's a first-team player. Yes, his name is always on the sheet. But he's not match fit. He is nowhere near match fit. And for some bizarre reason, he wants to suddenly start playing him from the off and give him 90 minutes. No. Capoue not ready for 90 minutes of football yet. An hour, yes. Half an hour, yes. 45 minutes, yes. But he's not ready for a 90. No two ways about it. I'm sorry, he's just not ready. I don't care what anyone says about it. It's what I'm saying. Personally, I think I would, like I say, I'd have James Garner in because he's attack-minded. He gets stuff going. He's deadly at set pieces, which was why he was brought in. And it all seems to have stemmed from the Reading game. It's almost like he's been made a scapegoat from it. Don't agree with that at all. So I don't know. I'm lost with it. And something I've heard today makes me think that there is something wrong at the club again at the minute. Not going to say what it is, because I'll get told off, but
no, it's all right, mate.
Something I heard.
Well,
which
Woody's saying also, mate, it's not the manager, it's the players just not doing it. I mean, the players have got to take a big responsibility of this as well. And I said this a million times. I argued with Deano till the cows came home about Silva, and they didn't play for him because of what happened with Silva. But since then, since the Silva incident, the players have got managers to sack. Ever since then, that one was Silva's fault. Since then, the players have not been performing, no matter what they do. I'm sorry, we can play defensive all we want, but it was the same with Flores. They didn't like Flores as well. Still take your chances. If we only took 2 chances a game, we'd be top of the list quite easily. You know, because we're not conceding goals, and I'll give you credit about that. You know, most of the time, I mean, the goal that Barnsley scored, okay, we've got to close the players down, but it's a very good goal. And yeah, it was only 1-0. It wasn't like we lost 3-0 here. We had chance. We didn't have many chances. That's also the worrying thing. But you know, apart from taking Barnsley aside, which Kevin has alluded to, if we'd scored 2 goals each game, we would be top. I mean, that was the shocking thing as well. Usually we have a couple of chances and we know exactly where we improve, but we didn't have any chances either yesterday. That's the really worrying thing.
I think Moobs is right. I think Gardner has got to come in. I would put Sarr on the wing to take pressure off him, because I think him and Pedro are under a lot of pressure at the moment. And to be fair, they haven't done too bad. And I would start with the big man, Glenn Murray, up top to hold the ball up. Either him or Gray. And the tactics got to change to 4-4-2 for me. That's what I think.
Do you think, and this is what Moobs alluded to as well, and I'll put this to you, Deano, because Moobs has obviously said, you know, we've done the Capu experiment where we're trying to ease him in, and he's just at the moment, and from what I saw as well, you know, he's just not fit yet. And, you know, would that be when you said, and I see your point, mate, we need some experience up there, someone who knows what they're doing up there, because, and I'm not having a go at Pedro. I think Pedro should be on the left. I've said this for ages. Pedro and Sarr, and an experienced man in the middle of the park. So that's not knocking Pedro whatsoever, because I think so far this season he's been excellent from, you know, what's been required of him. He's had to grow up really quickly and all that sort of stuff. So I'll give him the thumbs up with that. But do you think if we start saying went with your theory, and I'm not trying to shoot it down, but do you think it would be too soon to just chuck Gray in straight away? Or do you think it is a risk that we need to take?
Well, Gray is quality, isn't he? You know, you could chuck him in. I think it'd be a risk if you chucked Hughes straight in as well. It's annoying because we got the squad. Even Chalobah's been, God, Chalobah, like you said, Pidge, Sarr should tear this league up. And Chalobah should be the same in that midfield. For God's sake, he was an England international knocking on the door. Now look at him. He's the only one consistently that's been good is Cleverly. I've got to give him credit. He's the one that's been consistent. Chalobah has been, God, he should be superb in this league. I love Chalobah, we all do. But at the moment, he's just not doing it. He should dominate that midfield.
It's the Jono sort of situation where Jono, like Coxie said, Jono was absolutely immense before, you know, he got his injury, and Jono was just never the same after his injury. And that's like I say, once again, it's not knocking Jono, because I love the man. You know, I've got a lot of time for Jono, but as a person, you know, amazing man. But I think after he came back after that injury he suffered at United back in 2000, he was never the same player. And I believe probably Chalobah's a similar sort of tale, where he's come back after what really could have ended his career with that shattered knee. A lot of people come back from cruciates, and I'm not making it any diluted anything, you know, with Jono's injury, because I mean that's also career threatening. But he's shattered his knee, and I honestly think that at the moment he's just not the same. I mean, he had that game where he did look much better at Wickham, but you know, I think that could be a tale of that, where the injury long term has really affected him. And I really don't hope this is true, but I don't think he's going to come back the player he was.
No, I think there's a lot in that. I think you're right there, Pidge. I think it sticks in the back of your mind, a serious injury like that, because you're just worried it could go again at any time, and if it goes again, is that the end of it? You know, Someone's just posted, at least the scum got battered yesterday. That's not the point right now.
That's Kevin. Kudos to Kevin, though. No, it's not the point, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. They're getting battered. That makes me happy. But right now, we've got another problem brewing, and that is the simple fact that this team has suddenly stopped playing again. Well, apart from the back line, they seem to be playing. It's the guys further forward that aren't playing now. And I think Deano's right in a way. It could be time to just shuffle something around. Maybe take Pedro out.
Yeah.
Maybe
Possibly.
pull him out for a game or two. Let him recharge again and let him come back in, because the more he plays, the more teams are going to do the homework on him. And that's something they're going to have a look at, because for me, all right, we know Gray's now back. I say that's a bonus right now. Troy isn't far away. I think also yesterday, I think Stepovic or Sterovic, whatever he's blinking called, sterile tablets. I'll call him that for now.
It's clean. It's clean.
Yeah, I think losing him was a little blow, because for him it's stop-start now. He came in, he got going, he got the red card, got the suspension. He's come back. Thankfully, didn't dislocate his shoulder. I think was he the suspected dislocated shoulder? Yeah.
Was
so
at one stage he was going to have surgery, wasn't he? But thankfully, he hasn't had it. But yeah, Michelle Ngongi's on as well. So, yeah, Ngongi, my lord, Ngongi. Oh Lord, Ngongi. So he's on. Yeah, sorry, mate. Just carry on, mate.
No, and I just yeah. So I think there's a rhythm. He wants to try and get a rhythm going, and it's now getting disrupted. But the players that come in are the players that are supposedly knocking on the door for a game. Well, from what I've seen in the last 2 games, some of those guys shouldn't even be wearing the shirt, because they've been utterly rubbish. And I mean that, just rubbish. And like Deano pointed out, Cleverley has been the standout in midfield. He's doing like 2 people's jobs because the other one can't be bothered. So there are some questions to be answered. Maybe they're going to say, look, we're not, we're still getting used to playing a game every 2 or 3 days. Probably pull that excuse out. It wouldn't surprise me. But this is the Championship, and they've got to get with it. They've got to switch on. I would like to see Hughes and Gray start on Wednesday, if they can. Or if not, I don't know what minute. What I was going to say, because I didn't catch it all yesterday. What minute did they come on yesterday? Was it late, or was it?
Hughes was late. Gray wasn't as late as Hughes, but Hughes was quite late as far as I remember. He came on for Cleverley, and I've said they need to do, if they're going to be on the bench, they need to do at least 20-minute cameos. It's got to be at least 20 minutes before they come on to do a cameo. Otherwise, it's pointless bringing them on for 5 minutes. Right, here's a question for you boys. Who replaces Pedro then? Because it's a good point. I mean, you could take him out and give him a bit of a breather, because a lot of teams, like you said, have done their homework. But who would you replace? That's from Adam Siegel.
I'd go with Moobs, I would. I'd put Gray and I'd have Murray. You've got 2 very experienced strikers there. And if Murray's winning his flick-ons like Deany did, that could work for Gray. I'd go with them 2. And like I said, chuck Sarr on the wing. Take a bit of pressure off Sarr. That's what I'd do.
Yeah. Moobs, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I sort of go the same way. Like I say, it's a shame we haven't got Sterovic fit as well. Because I think he could. I think he can play a big part in this. And the other conundrum is we've got to throw Deany back into the equation, because apparently he's not far away now. It could be a case of, are some of them waiting for him to come back? Are they saying, we need him back on the pitch? I don't know. That's just me saying that, by the way. I'm not suggesting it, or insinuating that they've said it. But maybe I think Wednesday night, Murray and Gray up top, and just for me, and I've said it time after time, Sarr is not a centre forward. He is a winger.
Yeah.
And that is what he's good at, on the wing. It's getting silly just trying to say to him, "I'll go and play as a second striker." No, this is not, because it's not what we're getting. Well, sorry, I'll get my words out in a minute. It is not what we brought him for. We brought him to use his pace down the wing and to whip balls in. It's, playing him like that, it's sort of, I think that's something else that's disrupting the flow of the game, our flow as well. Because he's having to cut in and do a second striker's job, which he doesn't want to do. He just wants to get the ball on the wing and run.
Yeah,
so,
true. Right, Simon Brookman. Yeah, go on, mate. Go on, finish up, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just think Wednesday night, you need 2 recognised strikers at least up front, or maybe even put Murray with Pedro and let Pedro feed off Murray. And just let Sarr go to the wing and say, right, you stay there for 90 minutes, mate. You stay there and just run.
Yeah. Right, Simon Brookman said, "I don't love Shalabar. I reckon the injury is key. He just looks casual. I wouldn't play him over the others. Deanie Gray up front. What do you reckon long term?" That's from Ricky. Helen Ward's #1 fan as well. Super Ricky.
Yeah.
What do you reckon of that? Long term. That's not a bad shout, because I mean, like I said, we said this before. Okay, it didn't work consistently. A couple of seasons ago, it did start the season well, but in the Championship, you could put a 4-4-2. You've probably said this already, but you play 4-4-2 and you stick those 2 up front. And I mean, if we need another person back, Deanie could always drop back slightly when we haven't got the ball. So it's not bad. But what do you reckon? I mean, is that the way to go forward? When they're both fit, Deanie and Gray up front.
It could be. It could be. It just all depends on. I think it depends, one, if they're fit enough and can they stay fit, and 2, who's in form. Because if you've got like that Sterovic and you've got Murray, say they hit form and they start playing well, but then you bring Deanie straight back in ahead of them, it's gonna cause that tough one. But yeah, Deanie and Gray up front would tear, if they're fit. If they both stay fit, they tear this league apart, because no one's going to want to mark Deanie. You've got Gray, who can, well, we say he can run at people. He more like runs and then falls over. Sorry, that was last season in the Prem.
Sounds like Wayne Andrews, but
does indeed. So it could be the answer. It could not be. Only the manager knows, but they've got to start getting it right. Got to start getting it right.
Deano, who do you reckon would think? Do you reckon that's the way forward, or do you think a totally different approach?
Oh, don't get me wrong, Deanie's a god, we all know that, but we've got to move on at some point from Deanie. He can't keep doing it now. He probably will be the saviour, get us promoted, but it's getting to the stage now where we can't keep depending on him. It's ridiculous. This squad should be good enough. We're doing okay. I love Deanie, we all do, don't get me wrong, but it's getting to a stage where we can't keep depending on him now. It's getting to that stage. What's he got? Probably a couple of years left. It is getting to that stage now where we can't keep expecting him to do it for us all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, as you say, as always, this is the Fans Podcast, so thank you ever so much for watching so far. Sam Howes is late, but he does apologise, so don't worry, Sam, I'll let you off, mate. Ricky, once again, that's it, mate, yeah, all week long. I think we should replace all of them and get the ladies in. That's from Ricky. Kevin Lowell, back to basics, centre forward down the middle, wingers out wide. Ricky Peters, not Murray. Kevin, once again, why is everyone anti-Murray? He hasn't had a chance yet. Yeah, no, fair point. Lord Seren, Sweets Rules, the sponsor of the podcast, said I would have Sema and Sarr sending in non-stop crosses to Murray and Gray on Wednesday. Also, Seren said playing a probability game. Yeah, no, good point. He's also come back and said I don't think their keeper had anything to do. Yeah, no, that's very good. Well, no shots on target probably sorts that one out. said, just want to say I'm bitterly disappointed with yesterday's performance. I'm now refusing to pay £10 to watch that awful tripe. Sam, I will send you a link to a free stream. Kevin Lilwell's big game Wednesday, bad result. The alarm bells start ringing. And Suren's Garner, Hughes and Capu in midfield. So he's agreeing with you, Moobs, about utilising Garner much more. So, yeah, I mean, we'll get on to, we need to really push on, mate, because, you know, people have been waiting, the public have demanded it. But you know what time that is, Moobs, don't you?
News.
There you have it. See, people, you just love that intro, don't you? We all know you love it. Oh, another busy day, another busy weekend. It's all going off, but now Boris has spoken, and yet again we're going to have disruption. Jesus blinking Christ, how I hate you right now, Boris. Oh, actually, no, it's the Sage that I hate. Sorry, I'll get that right, Sage. But anyway, enough of the politics. It's a very low non-league this week because a ton of games got called off because of the weather. Trust me, I've been struggling to find results here, there, and everywhere. So if your local team played, hit me up with a result. We'd love to give them a mention, whether they won, drew, or lost. It's a bit like win, lose, or draw, really. Simple as that. Just a few results that I do have in the National League South yesterday. It was a brilliant result. If you're a Hemel Town fan, because the wait is finally over. Yes, their first win of the season yesterday. It's finally come in the league. If you think of, I was going to say, I'm basically going to describe this game because even I couldn't keep up with it. This is how mental it got. At half time, Hemel were winning 4-2. That's how bizarre the game was because 1 minute they were 1-0 up, then they were 2-1 down, and then they ended up 4-2 at half time. Work that one out. I simply can't. Basically, they just forgot how to defend, and that was both teams as well. They were away at Braintree Town yesterday. To make matters worse for Hemel, they played the last 25 minutes with 10 men and conceded 1 goal. Bizarre, yes. Confused, yes. Baffled. Well, I certainly am because it's not the Hemel way. But finally, they did get their first win. So it is a relief that they've got their first win. I know it's been hard on the Hemel boys because you know it's different this year. It's a new manager. It's pretty much a new team. Woody, quickly Google that answer. Quickly Google that result because I haven't got it. I forgot. So yeah, it's been. Yeah, Sammy Hemel actually won. Yes, they did. It's a miracle. Call the front pages, ring the Sun, ring whoever you want. Just tell them they have won a game. Like I say, it is a very changed Hemel team because of budget cuts, because of COVID. So it's gonna be a hard season for them. But to get that win now, their confidence will be right up there, and I know they are desperate for us to get back in to cheer them on. So hopefully, I doubt it's going to be before Christmas. But if it turned out to be the other side of Christmas, Jesus Christ, I'll be jumping for joy. And I think that's the only way I can put a positive spin on that. Apart from the fact Hemel did win, I'm going to say it again. Hemel won a game. I'm going to have a party later. Elsewhere, we've got to say a big well done to Kings Langley Football Club. That's right, Kings Langley. They were in FA Trophy 4th qualifying round action yesterday against, hang on a minute, here's a team for you that you may not have heard of, Brightlington C FC. That's right, Brightlington FC. Brightlington C FC. Say that when you've had a few to drink. Just to let you know, that team are in a lower league compared to what Kings Langley are. And for the first time, I can confirm a big well done to Kings Langley because not only did they win by 4-1, they are in the first round proper of the FA Trophy for the very first time in their history. So that is an amazing achievement. A big well done to the boys down there. I know a few of them do tend to catch this from time to time. So, lads, I did see some of you today, and yeah, it was. I'm really pleased for you. So, hopefully, you get a good draw. God knows when it's going to get played because, as we are led to believe, the whole entire league is possibly going to get suspended again. Can you just can't write this stuff, can you? Seriously, I can't. I didn't even write that bit down either. Elsewhere, Wealdstone yesterday, they were meant to be playing away at Halifax Town in the National League. That unfortunately was called off due to a waterlogged pitch. Barnet were also meant to have played yesterday. Their game didn't get going either. So it has been a real hit and miss. I think Bournemouth did actually win yesterday. So out of all of them, what about the part? Seriously, I'm going to swing for Woody in a minute. He's going to. Right. We are going to pause this briefly. So I'm just going to quickly do something. So bear with. Woody, you have started this, so you are in trouble. Right. Let me just have a look. Let's have a look. We are going to have a look, people. Oh, here we are. Right. Drum roll. Let's see. It looks to me like they didn't have a game. That looks very much like they didn't have a game yesterday. By the looks of that. No, they didn't. They did not have a game yesterday, so they've had a weekend off. Here we are. I'm back with you all now. Did Doyley score, Kevin? Unfortunately, Lloyd Deano did not get on the score sheet yesterday. It was mainly the strikers that were doing the job for Kings Langley. I do know I would love to see another Doyley goal. It would be an absolute be-all and end-all of everything. I can confirm, though, South Park did play in the week against Chipstead. It just didn't end well for them because they lost 3-1 there on Tuesday night. So it is going from bad to worse, a bit like Watford at the minute. South Park are doing the exact same thing. They can't string a win together. But they scored a goal, but Watford didn't. So, you know, we give them that. We do give them that one. So, yeah, and like I say, a lot of games yesterday, just to reiterate, a heck of a lot of games were called off yesterday because of the weather, because of that all that heavy rain. Berkhamsted Town, they were meant to have played yesterday. They were called off. Leverstock Green, they were meant to be playing. That game was called off as well. Basically, I think if you were any leagues below Kings Langley, I think you were going to be lucky yesterday to get a game on because of the weather. So, Woody, yes, I know the crying emojis are out. I've got the white flag ready for them. It's not looking good. But we have hope. We have hope like most things. But unfortunately, from what I heard from the Kings Langley guys today, that Langley yesterday played their last game for at least a month. I will touch on this with the ladies shortly as well. We are waiting confirmation of what is actually going to happen from the FA. They're going to have to come out with a statement to say, is football suspended, yes or no? Apparently, according to Kings Langley, they are absolutely adamant that they are not going to be playing for a month. From what I've been told, which leads me on to the ladies. The ladies, we welcome the ladies as always, and as you may have seen, one or two people commenting on today's game. What a delight it was to get back and watch them play, because it was absolutely brilliant. A fantastic win today for the girls. They ran out a whopping 8-0. 8-0 winners against Plymouth Argyle down at Kings Langley today. 3 goals in the first half, 5 goals in the second half, and quite frankly, if it hadn't been for their keeper, it would have been 15 or 16-0. That's seriously how much they battered the goal. The men could take a few hints off them of how to shoot, let alone hit the target. More on that. So yeah, big well done to the girls today. 2 goals for Alicia Stoko Down, 2 goals for Adekita Patugadada, also known as Addy. Rosie Kamita got in on the act as well with a goal. Kate O'Leary got a goal as well. Megan Chandler got a goal as well. There's goal scorers everywhere today. I want Sarah Wiltshire. I cannot forget Sarah. She actually opened the scoring. How did I forget that one? So this is not COVID, by the way. This is not a COVID cough. It's just a cold. So yeah, it's yeah, like I say, a great win for them today. But unfortunately, they are now at the hands of the FA, because we do believe that the Ladies' League is going to be suspended for a month to coincide with the lockdown rules. Like I say, there will be more on that, we think, either tomorrow or Tuesday. We're, like I say, everyone at the minute now is at the hands of the FA, because if the FA call for a suspension, and I do actually believe, if I'm led to believe this, it could mean the men are going to have to stop again as well, because they're saying they can't. There's something in the paper today saying that the first round proper of the FA Cup is under threat, because they don't think that the FA are going to allow them to play. So if that's the case, if they can't play, then technically, I don't know if you can allow the Football League to carry on playing. So, crazy times we live in. I simply don't know what's going to happen. But like I say, the girls seem to be pretty adamant that they are stopping for a month, which is a blow, because they've just come back from a couple of weeks off. So now they're heading for another 4-week stint. But who knows? We will, once we get the news, we will announce it to everyone. We will let everyone know. But for future reference, I know today also the game was streamed today, which none of us knew about at the ground until the second half, when we realised that we could watch the goals as they were going in. Not only watching the game, but somebody had it on their phone as well. But guys, if you are interested, come down to Kings Langley Football Club when the girls get going again. If they don't get told to stop, that is. It's quite frankly, it's the best afternoon out. Great afternoon, great set of people down there. I've said it time after time. There is refreshments, bar. Well, I was not today. I'd like to reiterate that as well. Pidge's face, yeah, I knew the smile would come. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, he's nodding in agreement. But yeah, it is honestly, it's a great afternoon out. It's basically £7 for adults. It's a couple of quid for, I think now, under 18s or under 16s, and £3.50 for concessions. The concession rate has returned. So if you are a concession, £3.50 to get in. You can't argue with that. Seriously, it is a wonderful afternoon out. We got the track and trace app down there that you got to scan before we go in the ground as well, just to keep up with all the current COVID laws and regulations as well. But yeah, if you do fancy an afternoon out watching a game of footy, seriously, come down, cheer the girls on, because they love it. They absolutely love it. They are. That's Ricky, fantastic. Yep, Helen Ward, she is an absolute dime. Yeah, it was great to see her back today after being on international duty with Wales, coming off the bench and running riot. So it was all fun. And also, I just want to say a big well done to the developed Watford's under 23s. I don't have the final score, but the last we heard, they were winning by 7 goals to 2. But for the life of me, no one has posted the result. I have been trying to find it, but I can't find it. So, yeah, the last we heard, it was 7-2. I got a feeling it might have stayed that way because they kicked off. I think they kicked off about an hour or so before the first team kicked off. So, yes, interesting one. But also today there was probably saw it during the week, but the ladies suffered a sudden departure from the squad ranks, and Emily Hill. God, we saw her today, and it was hard. It was hard today. Emily, on behalf of all of us, we've said it once, we'll say it 1,000 times. We wish you all the best with your future career in the fire service. I know it probably wasn't an easy decision to make, but yeah, honestly, you are going to be missed in the ranks of Watford women, and always continue to come down, because you will always be welcomed with open arms. So what's that? I want to get. Whoa. Ricky wants somebody's shirt. I don't know who that is. Whose shirt's Ricky? Whose shirt?
She wants Helen Ward's shirt.
She wants Helen. I don't think you can get it at the minute because of COVID. But I'm sure maybe at the end of the season you might be able to. Sneak one.
someone might be able to sort something out. Right, okay, we've got to shoot, but thank you, Moobs, amazing as ever, mate. That's why people tune in for Moobs News. That's why the viewing figures go up around 1:45. But guys, thank you ever so much once again, Moobs, Deano, Super Neil Cox, Captain Marvel as well, amazing, all three of you. Just remember, guys, we're back on Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. The verdict with myself and Sir Ray. So hopefully we'll have something nice and cheerful to talk about. If we don't, the live stream will be packed with opinions. So it's kind of you hit and miss. So let's hopefully we'll get something. Hopefully we'll get back to winning ways on Wednesday night. But we will see you shortly. We've got to run. So once again, thank you ever so much, everyone out there on YouTube and Facebook land. But as always, you've been beautiful. We've been TMA. It's good night from Deano.
It's good night from Moobs.
It's good night from Pidge.
Good night, guys.